Hello everybody. The first thing I want to say is that I'm from a sheep farming family in County Roscommon, so I know nothing whatsoever about orangutans. So sheep, yes, jungle animals, no. As Roisin said, my name is Basil Mannion. I'm a Senior Community Water Officer with the Local Authority Waters Programme, which is LawPro for short. LawPro is a national shared service of local authorities focused on improving, obviously with other stakeholders, water quality and bringing water bodies up to at least good status by 2027. As a Senior Community Water Officer, I work with the communities team within LawPro, and our main focus, along with a few other items, is to engage directly with communities and try to work with communities to empower them, to enable them, to give them funding from our funding toolkits, to provide resources, to provide expert advice and assistance, all with a view to enabling the local, community to take ownership and more management takeover of their local water quality environment. So that would be our overall objective. And I suppose my title for these few slides, Improving Water Quality, Benefits for the Environment and Society, could easily be changed to community engagement and public participation in managing water quality with benefits for climate, biodiversity and health and well-being of those involved. So the guiding principle for LawPro comes from the EU Water Framework Directive and Ireland's soon-to-be hopefully published River Basin Management Plan, and it talks about water not being a commercial product like any other, but rather our heritage which must be protected, defended and treated as such. So that's something that we bear in mind every day in our engagements with communities, focused on providing clean water for everybody and raising the status of our poorly performing water bodies. Health and water for health and well-being. Obviously, for the Buddhists, amongst the Buddhist monasteries, always have water features in their gardens. Sounds of water are used for healing, wellness and meditation. This has been referenced by numerous speakers previously. Research shows that our blood pressure lowers simply by watching nature programs and water-related programs on television. And there's obviously a reason for this. I'm not going to go into specifics because they're well documented. LawPro was set up in 2017, so we're relatively new in the community engagement stakes. But from the very outset, we set about sitting down with communities at the table, having cups of tea, trying to engage face-to-face with communities. And we had one simple question, and you can see it there. What does your local water body mean to you? What value do you put on it, on your local water environment? And that could be the same for the wider environment as well. Some people don't put any value on it, but some do, thankfully. Health and well-being is well up there. Wildlife and water-dependent habitats, water quality, fisheries, source protection for our drinking water sources, outreach and education, community well-being and amenity was well up there. Sustainability, outdoor recreation is heavily linked as well. Heritage and nature-friendly farming. So just briefly, some examples of how we are working and engaging with communities. In recent years, we've collaborated very closely with the GAA and other stakeholders to form the GAA Green Club initiative, focused on healthy mind, healthy body, healthy club, and healthy water. Obviously, we were very keen to collaborate with the GAA, who have about 2,300 GAA club communities all over the country with club grounds. And we felt it was a very good opportunity to engage with those club communities and create an awareness and create a bigger impact in their daily activities that take place within their club grounds, focused on biodiversity, water, waste, energy and transport. And obviously from a communities team point of view, we were very much focused on the biodiversity and water aspects of their activities. And through our engagement, we've provided funding initially for 10 pilot clubs in phase 1, and that has now rolled over to funding of €1,000 for phase 2 for 30 clubs, and we're rolling out the programme along with other stakeholders and the GAA to all clubs across the country, and providing a toolkit for clubs to make better, more impactful decisions in relation to their local environment when they're operating on their pitches and their grounds. You can see some photographs there of the Mullingar Shamrocks Club on the banks of the River Boyne in County Westmeath, and they were a Leinster leader pilot club focused very much on protecting the water quality of the Brosna through implementing riparian planting, biodiversity enhancements, and innovative organic pest and weed control program that was developed there as well. a lot of biodiversity and water quality engagements there with both young and old members of the community. So a very successful engagement there. Obviously all very beneficial for those who take part in it from a health and wellness point of view as well. Nature-based systems, we talked about those earlier on, and this is an example of a group, Geishel Tidy Towns, who I suppose engaged with local when trying to make improvements to their local water quality in the Geishel village there in County Offaly. They had a car park with polluted water running off to a percolation area, and over a series of phased years and through phased funding, they developed an open water swale, rain garden and wetland train treatment system to treat the polluted water and improve their impact on their local water body and water quality in the area. And again, you can see over the last number of years a huge amount of work by the community team involved. And again, from our point of view as a communities team, it served as a learning, I suppose, as a demonstration site. You can see the group up there on the right hand side. We had lots of different groups coming to Geishel to look at the project and look at the work that Geishel had done in this area. And this work enabled them to be the winners of the Ireland's Tidiest Village in 2023 under the Tidy Towns competition. So again, the community working together to benefit water quality, but obviously knock-on benefits for health and well-being there as well. An outdoor classroom project on the Little Delaware River in Camross, County Laois. Again, the Camross Community Development Association, very much community focused there. You can see the local national school on the banks of the Little Delaware. The Little Delaware is a pristine, high quality river, and the Camross community were adamant that they wanted to protect that pristine nature by focusing on the water quality of the river there and all their activities in and around the community area. So again, they were engaged in developing a river trail, an outdoor classroom, which is a very much an innovative project for the local school children to come down and experience the outdoor nature and by all means getting their feet wet in the river. They linked in well with the Portlaoise Men's Shed, which again is very beneficial in terms of providing funding to Camross to carry out water quality improvement works, and that funding subsequently being provided to Portlaoise Men's Shed to provide bat boxes and bird boxes. So very much promoting the circular economy there, with wins all around for water quality, community health and wellness. During the tough times of COVID, we rolled out Stories from the Waterside competition, where we encouraged communities from all across the country to tell us their stories of their interactions with their local water bodies and their memories and their daily experiences of their local water bodies. And that was a tremendous experience and a tremendous success during those tough COVID times. The prize winners that were selected were put into a publication, again entitled Stories from the Waterside, and that book has been republished several times in the following years. One of the questions we actually asked all of the participants was, is water quality important to you? And thankfully, we had no negative responses whatsoever in the 1,000 questions that we posed to them. And again, that was very much focused on water heritage, water quality, good memories, and a feeling of well-being. Athlone Canal Heritage Group in Athlone, again, a community-based group, very much focused on the Athlone Canal there in Athlone, and also the section of the Shannon that runs through Athlone. Very much involved with Law Pro and the communities team over the last number of years, linking in with 6 or 7 secondary and national schools, an annual conference on water quality, biodiversity and climate change, and very much engaging the students, bringing them out, getting their feet wet, engaged in citizen science activities and litter and waste management projects in relation to the canal and the riverbank. They've also developed, in terms of blue exercise and encouraging use of the amenity, Shannon Banks Walkway, which you can see there running along the banks of the Shannon and 5 kilometres along the canal banks there, which is heavily promoted and heavily used and a huge benefit to the local people in the community. Portlaoise Men's Shed, I mentioned them earlier on there, a really good, hard-working group of men who, where their shed is located, looks out onto the Triogue River there in Portlaoise. And you can see there, this is just one of many projects that they've engaged in on the Triogue. The amount of rubbish and waste that they removed from the Triogue in one day, it's hard to comprehend that was taken out on one day. And there was a huge sense, and I was luckily enough to be part of there, a huge sense of accomplishment and I suppose participating in a community endeavour to try and improve water quality there, and that was extremely beneficial to those men in terms of health and well-being. National Heritage Week, along with Biodiversity Week and a few other different vehicles, is a very important vehicle for LawPro and the communities team to provide funding for the communities team to get out and about and engage in water quality, biodiversity and climate related projects up and down the country every year. We've had numerous successful projects and events over the last number of years. Heritage Week is coming up again this year in August, and we have heritage funding that we roll out to all the community groups that show an interest in it. And again, it installs a great sense of community participation, people working together for the common good of water quality, biodiversity awareness, but also that sense of working together, that general sense of health and well-being, and it's very beneficial to see. So I think that's my last slide there. So thank you very much for listening.